first principle is that of openness. The first precept encourages us to be aware of the suffering caused by fanaticism and intolerance, as well as to avoid becoming idolatrous to or bound to any doctrine, theory or ideology, including Buddhist ones. The Buddhist teachings should be regarded as a guiding light to assist us in learning to look deeply and develop understanding and compassion. The second precept is non-attachment to views. Mindfulness emphasizes being in the process of learning and unlearning at all times, as well as being open to other persons' experiences and insights in order to benefit from collective wisdom. The emphasis is on non-attachment to ideas and not viewing intellectual knowledge accumulation as absolute truth. It is necessary to practice openness, compassionate listening, deep looking and letting go of preconceived notions. This brings us to the third precept, and that is freedom of thought. There is no absolute truth, and remember, we should not impose our views on others or force them to accept and adopt our views in any way. Others' right to differ, to choose what to believe and how to decide must be respected. We will, however, learn to help others let go of and transform fanaticism and narrowness through loving speech and compassionate dialogue, which is the essence of non-violence paradigm promoted by engaged Buddhism. We have to be also aware of our suffering, and this is the fourth part in mindfulness practice. One should not flee from suffering, but rather practice mindful breathing and walking to delve deeply into the causes of suffering with the energy of mindfulness. Only by deeply understanding the roots of suffering can one see the path leading to its transformation. The realization will allow us to understand the pain of others. The abolition of suffering necessitates finding ways to be with those who suffer, including personal contact and the use of telephone, electronic, audiovisual and other means in order to assist them in transforming their suffering into compassion, peace and joy. The next component is compassionate healthy living. Our purchasing habits, Thich Nhat says, should be based on mindfulness and an understanding that true happiness is rooted in peace, solidarity, freedom and compassion. The goal of life should not be fame, power, wealth or sensual pleasure, which can lead to a lot of pain and despair. When millions of people are dying of hunger and starvation, wealth accumulation should be avoided. The body and mind should be nourished through mindful practice with edible foods, sense impressions, volition and consciousness, and any products or activities that brings toxicity to the body and mind should be avoided at all cost. Consumption patterns that promote compassion, well-being and joy in our bodies and minds, as well as in the collective bodies and minds of our families, society and the earth should be followed. One should also take care of one's anger. We should not feed our rage or hatred. When the seeds of anger is present in our consciousness, we should commit to transforming their energy. Mindful breathing or walking can be practiced to acknowledge, embrace, and look deeply into anger. Mindfulness practice will help to understand that the source of our rage are not external to us, but rather in our erroneous perceptions and lack of understanding of the suffering in ourselves and others. Right diligence must be practiced to nourish our capacity for understanding love, joy, and inclusiveness, gradually transforming our anger, violence, and fear, and assisting others in doing the same. This brings us to the next point, and that is dwelling happily in the present moment. Experiences, regrets from the past, fears for the future, or craving, anger, or jealousy in the present should be avoided. Take life as it comes. Commit to training yourself. Practice mindful breathing and be aware of what is going on in the here and now. Our mental attitude is the most important factor in the work of transformation and healing in our consciousness. One should sow seeds of joy, peace, love, and understanding within oneself rather than relying on external circumstances. Simply remembering that we already have more than enough allows us to live happily in the present moment. This brings us to the next aspect, and that is true community and communication. Do not say anything that will cause discord and cause the community to fall apart. Make every effort to reconcile and resolve any and all conflicts, no matter how minor. Responsibility for any conflict that may have arisen should be accepted, and communication channels should be kept open. How will this be possible? This will be possible with truthful and loving speech also. Practice truthfulness and loving speech constructively. Be courageous to speak out about situations of injustice, even when doing so may threaten your own safety. One should refrain from spreading rumors or criticize or condemn others of which we are not sure of. Let's have a look at the next teaching, and that is protecting and nourishing the Sangha. Do not use the Buddhist community for personal gain or profit, and do not turn it into a political party. A religious community, on the other hand, should take a firm stance against oppression and injustice and work to improve the situation without engaging in partisanship. To achieve collective awakening, one should practice developing the three true powers, which is understanding, love, and cutting through afflictions. Let's understand what it means by right livelihood. With the awareness that great deal of violence and injustice have been done to our environment and society, one should commit not to live with a vocation that is harmful to humans and nature. The economic, political, and social realities around the world creates an awareness of our interrelationship with the ecosystem. Conscious decisions and compassion should be practiced to behave responsibly as consumers and as citizens in the investment in or purchase from companies that contribute to the depletion of natural resources, harm the earth, or deprive others of their chance to live. This naturally brings us to have an understanding that there needs to be reverence for life. Life of both the biotic and the abiotic world should be revered. We should commit ourselves not to kill and not to let others kill. Conscious decisions and actions should be practiced to discover better ways to protect life, prevent war and build peace. How will this be achieved? Can we think of generosity? Let's have a look at it. We are committed to cultivating generosity, loving kindness and working for the happiness of other people, animals, plants and minerals, as well as sharing our time, energy and material resources with those in need, because we are aware of the suffering caused by exploitation, social injustice, stealing and oppression. Possess nothing that belongs to someone else. Respect others' property, but prevent others from profiting from human or other species suffering on earth. And more important, let there be true love. The final mindful training distinguishes between monastic and lay members. It is stated that the monastic order should practice chastity and assist others in protecting themselves. One should not mistreat one's body and should treat it with respect. It is advised to save vital energies, that is the sexual, breath and spirit, for the way's realization. It is stated for lay members that sexual expression should not occur without love and commitment. Be mindful of the potential for future pain in sexual relationships. Respect others' rights and commitments in order to preserve their happiness. Be fully conscious of the responsibility that comes with bringing new life into the world. Consider the world into which you are introducing new beings. These 14 precepts serve as the guidelines or foundation for the engaged Buddhism movement, addressing both traditional Buddhist morality and contemporary social concerns, ranging from the need to prohibit environmentally harmful practices to proposals for spiritually oriented conflict resolution. In conclusion, I would like to state that engaged Buddhism arose as a Buddhist response to the widespread trauma that has accompanied the advent of modernity in some Asian Buddhist countries, including colonialism, war, social and economic injustice, environmental degradation, genocide, totalitarian government and religious suppression. Thich Nhat Hanh's engaged Buddhism promotes the individual's active role in effecting change, as well as his mindfulness training, an ethical roadmap, and draws on the Buddha's teachings to inform their actions on such issues like war, nuclear weapons, poverty, globalization, the criminal justice system, and climate change. According to a key passage in the Dhammapad, in this world, hate never yet dispelled hate. Only love can dispel hatred. Engaged Buddhism encourages us to consume mindfully for our own benefit in order to have a healthier body and a deeper understanding of our interconnection with the natural world. It also encourages us to take social action in order to help change the social and economic systems that fuel global overconsumption. I am sure that the philosophy of engaged Buddhism, you will find that it is so very relevant to the contemporary times, and even a non-Buddhist can practice engaged Buddhism by being a part of the global change, by being a part of the change which the society needs to have. Wish you all the very best and happy learning to you. Thank you.